Hello, it's after Thanksgiving. It is the beginning of December, and that means that anything fall related, fall decor, needs to go out of my booth. So I'm here to do that. I'm also so happy to report that it was an outstanding Black Friday, Small Business Saturday, Extra Day, Sunday shopping in my booth, and I sold a ton of pieces, big pieces. So I have to play furniture Jenga. If you've been here before, you've seen me moving things around. I still have quite a bit of furniture in my booth. So I'm going to work with what I have, move things around, make them look fresh. I do have, see that green piece right there? I do have one piece I'm bringing in, but mostly I'm packing up fall, making things also look fresh and new by reorganizing, resorting, and getting it ready for even more holiday shoppers. The first thing to do at my booth is to get my car unloaded. I had the piece of furniture and lots of boxes and paper towel. I use paper towel just to quickly wrap stuff up while I'm working and moving so I don't break it. Let's walk through my booth and let's see what sold. This is the aftermath after a sale. The first thing I'm noticing is there's a tag on this piece of furniture and it is on layaway. So this piece will be leaving. Yay! That's a big chunk of space, though, that I'm going to have open soon. I also see another chunk of space and furniture kind of scattered everywhere. That's what it looks like after a sale, and it's so important to come in and make your booth pretty. I mean, there's something to be said about having things all over the place, but not lamps on the floor, right? And not, you'll see in a moment right here, nativity pieces. They were scattered throughout, but people were buying furniture, and I do not blame the people in the front. I always tell them I'll put my booth back together. Your job is just to help people get their furniture and move it out. As we're walking through here, a lot of this stuff is still here, so that's good. We're looking around. I'm seeing things that are out of place. Those are things I'm going to put back. And also trying to figure out what's going to go in those empty spaces. And this is my Christmas area. I do have a whole makeover of this space if you want to see how I set it up. And I'm missing something big there next to that gigantic candle. I had sold a Santa blow mold. It's actually the second one I have sold this year, and that spot has been hot. Right now, I'm just going to pop in something I have. I know it's not perfect for scale, but I do have another Santa sign that's vintage. I also have a smaller Santa blow mold I'll put next to it. I'm just making things tidy so I can move on to the bigger spaces that need attention. And as I was walking through, I completely missed that this china cabinet also has a sold tag. They'll be picking that up later. I will need to clear it. But first, I need to clear this little area. This was kind of fall-ish, and it had been set up like this for a while. One of my favorite things to use are old screens. I actually have two back-to-back on this, and it works so good for kind of creating an end cap. I love doing end caps. And I'm also clearing up all the fall items here. And those will be coming home with me to store. I moved that little dresser from the front to the open space. It's not ideal, but it will work. I also need a spot for all of the nativities. I've been selling a lot of nativities in this space, so I like to kind of keep them together. People can look through them and decide which one suits them best. I'm also stacking up a bunch of trunks and boxes. And as antique dealers and vintage booth dealers, why do we always get hung up with weird little things? That lamp, spent so much time on it, moved it around like 8 different times, and you're going to see later on I barely even needed it, but it's just the things that drive us crazy. Now, I don't like to put things flat against the wall, but this is a quick display. I'm not spending a ton of time here. I'm just trying to fill in the gaps with the pieces that I have. And there is, yep, another lamp exactly underneath the first. Like I said, I don't know why I spent so much time on it. Now I have an open space here, and this whole area is open. You'll see in the corner, that's my mom. She's working on her booth too. So this space here, I noticed one of my light bulbs was out. I mean, that makes a huge difference. Sometimes things don't sell in a certain area because the light bulb is out. So new light bulb, getting some new pieces and just staging it, putting things back together the best that I can, because I only really have today and only about a half a day before I have to pick up my daughter. Now that piece is sold, so I'm leaving it, but I need more furniture. This chair will do nicely. So let me show you how things are going to look once I got that in place. So we're going to go over to the right here where there was a lot of empty spaces, and I have also cleared out that china cabinet there. I filled it in on some of the shelves, and this piece is going to be going. I just left them where they were because they were easy to get to. I put some of the milk glass in that black cabinet there and straight back against the wall. I think it pops if you have pieces that have high contrast. Over here, I know there's a lot going on, but for now, this area will do. It looks kind of pulled back together. And I still have a whole other side of my booth to work on because many of these pieces I pulled from the other side of the mall. So now I am going to be moving this gigantic hutch. It was also right in the front. I think one of the best things that you can do is to change the pieces people see first quite often, because even if the rest of it doesn't change too much, at least when people walk up to your space, they'll go, oh, this is different, and it'll help them to get into your booth. I had like a center island going here and it was really tight, so I'm going to be changing things around. I'm moving this Hoosier over and just opening it up a bit. Changing the footpath in your booth can really make everything seem new. And unfortunately, I couldn't get right back to my booth as I had planned. Life happens, and so I was away a little bit longer than I expected, but I want to show you the really cool project that I was working on and how it turned out. This is such a simple project. It started with an old battery operated clock that I picked up while I was thrifting in Wisconsin, and I gave it a whole new look. If you don't already know, I go live on Facebook almost every Monday at 8:30 Eastern, and I show you what I'm up to and what projects I'm working on. And it could be furniture restoring to thrift flips or even what I am buying. So you might want to head over to Facebook and follow me there. The project started on Facebook, but I am going to show you exactly what I did and how I finished it. I think this would be a great project too to give as a gift. You could use the same technique on a simple frame, put a pretty picture in it, and it would look really pretty. For this project, I am using Iron Orchid Design mold. This is the oak and acorn molds. It is one of my favorites. I'm dusting it off with a little bit of cornstarch. That will help it not to stick. I'm also using air-dried clay. What is so cool about these molds is they have this micro rim on the edges, and so you can use your thumb to just smooth out the mold so you fill it to the appropriate amount. And once the mold is filled, you just want to flip it over. These molds are made of silicone, and you can just pull or bend it away and the molds will pop out. And the detail on these molds is really next level. These molds can also be used for resin or even for chocolate or baking. I've even heard of people using these for soap. I like to work with my clay right after if I have unmolded it and it is still wet. Right now I'm laying out the design to see what will work best for me. You can allow it to dry, but I do find that it will crack, and I don't want my mold to crack too much. So here I am laying out the design I want. You can also see how I was fixing the edges of that acorn there. Because the clay is still wet, you can change things, and that is wonderful. The next step is going to be to glue everything down, but before I do that, I want to make sure that the molds I have chosen fit. You're going to see in a second one of the stems of one of the leaves is just a little bit too long. The nice thing is this is clay, so I can just cut that right off and make it fit for me. I'm going to be using Titebond 2 wood glue to glue everything down. It works really well. And because the molds are still wet, you can mold them around your piece. And Titebond 2 does a great job. I apply it with the applicator, and then I use a Q-tip, which you can't really see here, to spread it out, or my finger, so that I am filling in the glue in every part of the mold so it will really stick well. The next step is to paint your molds, and it's a two-part process. I am using DIY Paint Layered Chocolate. I'm doing this for two reasons. One, I want to change the color of the mold, but two, when you're painting your wet mold, it really helps it not to crack. It might still crack a little, and I'm going over with a large brush, the Perfectionist first, and then I'm taking my smaller brush to go in with the details. Once it dries, you might notice a few more white areas coming through like you're seeing here. That does happen. So you normally need about 2 coats before you get complete coverage, but this does such a good job to transform your piece. And don't worry, there is one more step once everything dries, and that is adding DIY Golden Ticket. I am dry brushing Golden Ticket on, which means I'm actually putting the paint on my paintbrush and wiping most of it off, and then I'm going over all of the leaves and the raised detail just very lightly. And you want to decide what is good for you. I actually went back through and added more. I also made sure I looked at all the sides and the edges of the pieces and got everything that was a raised surface. The best thing about Golden Ticket is it's paint and top coat in one, so you can just paint it on and you are done. The rest of the paint, though, will need a sealer, and for that I am going to be using DIY Paint Clear Wax. The clear wax is all natural, and it will help finish your piece just perfectly. I don't really have to apply it to where the Golden Ticket is because that area is sealed, but I'm just going to put a little bit of the wax over the whole area. Be careful of the wax freak out when you apply wax over DIY paint that is dried. You are going to reactivate the paint underneath, and sometimes it looks strange. You're noticing it's getting really dark here. Everything will even out as the wax dries. I promise, don't freak out. For furniture pieces, I will use 2 to 3 coats of wax. For a small piece like this that's not going to get a lot of use or bumping into, I probably will only use 1 coat of wax. I'm also going to let it dry, and then with a dry cloth I will buff the wax to get a beautiful shine. Don't skip the wax, it will really make the piece. As a booth owner, I can never truly predict how long rearrangements of a booth are going to take. I knew I had to move quite a few things around. When I got there, I found out even more pieces had sold, which was good. Some of the items that sold too were exactly where I was planning on moving a few things. So I didn't want to move the items that were waiting to be picked up into a more difficult spot, so I decided to leave them. You know, things happen. I also had quite a few customers in the booth that day asking questions, which, you know, that's fine. That's what I'm there for. It's not a problem. Can never plan. Sometimes I'm really good at judging how long it's going to take. Sometimes there's other factors like what happened while I was there the last time that just, you know, it happens. And it's really important that you just do the best you can. So before I left, because the project was taking way longer than I had planned, and I still had about half of what I needed to do and an hour left before I had to see my daughter and all of the things. So I turned off the camera. You guys didn't see the last little bit just because I had an hour to do things, and it works a lot better without a camera on. And I hustled and threw things where they need to go. Today, I need to go in and kind of look at what I did. I'm going to show you what I did. The booth rearrange is pretty much done. I will show you what it looks like. This is just a booth reset in between the after Thanksgiving and the Christmas shoppers. I'm sure more items are going to sell. I'm going to have to tweak the booth and the space and make things pretty. And the holiday rush is going to affect that, but you have to have it so it's pretty for your shoppers to shop. So that's where we're at. This is nothing new and stunning. One of the goals too was to widen the paths for shoppers. I kind of, we throw things in until there's too much, and then we make it pretty. And so that's what I did. So let's take a look at what I have done. I hope you enjoyed my booth reset, and I hope you enjoyed my project, and maybe I've inspired you to start one of your own. Now, I did not do this video to make anyone feel bad. I know that some booth owners are having great seasons and some are not. The weather, the cold, the economy, so many things are playing into this. And my video right before this one was all about what to do if you are not selling as a vintage booth owner. So if you are having issues, you might want to check out that video. I really hope it is helpful. I know for me, it is always a roller coaster of up and downs as a small business owner, and I hope it will inspire you and give you some ideas of what you can do next. Thank you guys so very much for joining me. On the next video, I hope to take you thrifting. I need a few items to restock, and I'm hoping I can find them, so stay tuned for that. Now, let's get out there to salvage, repurpose, and create.